to be delusional. Girl, I was in complete delusion. I didn't care. I was like, yeah, I live in the city. Whole time I'm in a homeless shelter. Being that delusional helped me manifest my dreams a lot. I'm literally living in the city now, but for real, you know?
Hello. Okay, and I want you to pronounce your name because I don't want to pronounce it wrong.
Okay, so my whole name is Assi, and everyone calls me Assi.
Assi, love that. Okay, so Assi, thank you for joining me. You look beautiful as always. So you were born in?
I was born in Guinea, West Africa.
Okay, and you, let's talk about that life or your life before you moved to Memphis, Tennessee.
In Africa for a little bit, actually. So when I was like 4, I remember briefly, you know, being just so free everywhere, living in my grandmother's estate with like cousins and aunties. It was like definitely country, village, rural, you know, African, like small town kind of vibe. And then moving from there right to New York was like night and day, from, you know, the village to the big city. It was very different for me, really. Like, it was very tight knit. You know, we would eat together with our hands on the floor outside, like under the tree, literally. So it was like when Instagram started to get big, I would post pictures of myself with different hairstyles, modeling and going to college. And then I realized, like, let me just focus on this, because I felt like social media would become more lucrative. It was like night and day, from, you know, the village to the big city. That was really big.
That should be a movie. Oh, well, it is coming to America.
They should do literally coming to America. Literally.
They should do like a girl version of that. That would be so cool.
19, I think, until like 21, right before I moved and decided to take a leap for LA. But yeah, I was living alone. It was scary, going through crazy relationships with men. All I got to tell you, leave men alone until you make your dreams come true.
No, that's my plan. I'm not dating. I'm just focused on my dreams.
Just dealing with guys. I got my heart broken twice, like back to back. It was like a truck hit me back.
My first, and I was like, that's it. I'm like, I'm heartless now.
It's crazy.
I mean, I don't think enough people talk about that. Like, I mean, they warn you against like specific relationships, but like the mental and emotional toll that can really have on you, and how long it can take to heal from that.
It takes a long time, girl. I'm still healing. I'm still going to therapy. College, I feel like 30s is the best time to date, because you're more of an actual adult, like you're a person now. So now not anyone can come and like influence your mind and your mental, you know, like you'll be better off with a heartbreak or anything. But when you're younger, it's like, you know, you're still so soft and like malleable and stuff like that. So
yeah, now you actually know if Pizza Hut's calling or not.
Huh? Right.
Now you actually know. You're like, maybe Pizza Hut was actually calling at 2 a.m. Like, no.
Girl, you'll know all the tips and tricks, especially with TikTok now. The ladies are like, the older women, they're spilling the tea. And I'm like, whoa, like, where was all this information before?
In between your senior year of high school and your freshman year of college, you and your family, I believe, were, you know, facing housing insecurity. So can you sort of talk me through that? What was that like? Was that because of the move? How did that, you know, come about?
So it started basically when we moved from Memphis, Tennessee to New York. So, you know, my mom kind of got divorced. She had got married, which made us move from where we were, Memphis, Tennessee. I was like a senior, about to be a senior. I had just finished my junior year. And then we were moving to New York. Like, I moved to New York and they moved to like Columbus, Missouri. And I was like, I'm not going to Columbus. And we ended up moving to New York together because the marriage didn't work out. So in that point, like, York, right? And then we had to leave because it just didn't work out, some, family issues and stuff. So we moved to the shelter. At first we moved to like housing, and it was like bunk beds in there, and we lived with like a different family, but it was in the city. So in college, I got away with saying, "Oh yeah, I live in the city," and people was like, "Oh, like is your dad a diplomat?" Because one thing
Wow.
about me, girl, I can go through any struggle, but you'll never be able to tell. You won't see it in my
You
face.
probably look exactly like this, right?
I was, and I know it's not a superpower, but it was my superpower. Like, it didn't matter whatever I was going through, I was gonna make sure my hair was done. I don't know how I was gonna do, but I was gonna get my hair done. My makeup was gonna be on. My outfit was gonna be cute and clean. You would never be able to tell what I looked like, and that was just something that I did to help me cope with a lot of the struggles that I was going through. I kind of leaned into self-care and beauty, even though it was just appearance. And now, as I'm getting older, I'm realizing that I have to dig deeper mentally and clean and like make sure everything inside is stable and not just looking good on the outside. See, because
Right.
I was just always coping with my appearance on the outside so people wouldn't know what I was going through. So we ended up living in two different shelters within the year before they gave us an apartment, like before we got approved for our subsidized housing in the Bronx. So we lived in one shelter where it was like an apartment, right? And we was living with another family. They gave us like EBT for food, and it wasn't the best situation, but I was like, we got a place in the city.
Talk about having a positive mindset.
Girl,
At least we're not in Kansas.
literally, it was delusional, but sometimes you gotta be delusional, girl. I was in complete delusion. I didn't care. I was like, yeah, I live in the city. Whole time I'm in a homeless shelter. We ended up moving to one in Brooklyn, and that one was the worst because it actually looked like a homeless shelter, and
Uh-oh.
it was just like right around the corner from my little sister's school that they were going to, and like they were embarrassed because people knew like that they were homeless, and that was hard for them to go through. But at the same time, I still have my job where I was waitressing, so I was going to school homeless, going working, so I could keep up my little image.
Wow.
It was hard, but I knew we would come out of it eventually. And that when we came out of it, I was never going to be in that situation again. So as soon as we finally got granted our housing, subsidized housing. I was like, I just remember one day I didn't have enough money to get on the train to go to work. And I just cried because like I was looking for pennies and like coins. All right, stop. Sorry, my cat is just on me, scratching me. Stop. Okay. I just broke down with my mom and was just like, I'm tired of being poor. Like I was just crying. She was trying to find me change to get on the train, and I was just crying. And from that moment, I was like, I'm always gonna have money. I'm always gonna have money. And that's when I found Hooters. I applied the first time. I didn't get hired. I waited like 6 more months and I applied again, and they hired me. And then within 6 months, I was Miss Hooters, New York City. And, I just, whatever happened, I did not break. I broke on the inside when people.
Growing up, my mother, she was battling cancer, so we were constantly moving around, right? So I understand like that embarrassment that your sister faced, or just even like, even the delusional aspect too. Or you know what I mean, or like I can be numb to certain circumstances because I'm used to like playing pretend, so to speak. But today, how as you've gotten older, how do you think that's changed? Like, are you still like living in the city? You're like, I'll always live in the city.
Girl, I'm literally living in the city now, but for real, I live in in a luxury building for real. Being that delusional helped me manifest my dreams a lot, but I'm at a place right now where it's like, okay, you can't be 70% delusion and then 30% reality. I'm trying to let my complete reality catch up. So it's like, okay, the delusion helped me get here. That was good, but I have to make sure my mental is perfect, like it's good mentally. I got to make sure my finances are up there with my delusional standard.
Okay, so you've been modeling for 10 years now, I believe.
Yes.
Wow.
Since I was 17 years old, did my first photo shoot. Now I'm 27. It's been 10 years. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So, okay, 10 years of modeling. How have you seen the industry evolve? Because I was reading online and you said, especially like as a dark skinned woman, was it internal, like, were you fighting like internal insecurities about like, being a dark skinned woman, or was like the industry sort of like, causing like external boundaries?
Both. Grown up as a dark-skinned woman, you hear the colorism everywhere. I'm African, so the lightest was always considered pretty, the slicker the hair, everything. So I heard it from in the household, being skinny too, being a skinny African woman, it's like you're supposed to be thick, big butt, big breasts, like, so my size, I was too skinny, I was too black. And it's just like where's the room? So I'm not gonna lie, it was hard for me to see beauty in myself growing up. Even though people told me I looked like a model, I didn't really think I was pretty. I started wearing makeup in high school because I was insecure, but then makeup became um my like art. It became another coping mechanism for me. Like when I would do my makeup, it would feel like I was traveling somewhere different. I became someone different when I did my makeup. So whoever I became then wasn't dealing with my problems.
Tell that you are a very dynamic woman. So where do you think you're headed, or where are you headed with your career?
I am headed to be a very, very successful entrepreneur. I'm just going to put that out there. I'm going to be a boss, have several businesses under the brand that I created, Assi Iman. My ideas come to life and make a lot of money and help people do this, other people do the same thing.
And, the girl that was delusional, but onto something, right? She was, living in a housing, or she was living in a homeless shelter, but she always knew deep inside of her, like, there's more to my life, or like, this is just the beginning. What would you say to her?
I would say keep going. Don't let people around you who might not have your best interest at heart, and it might be hard to figure out who's who, but stick to your art. Your art is going to make you a lot of money. Stick to your art. Stick with your delusional mindset, but just make sure that your reality meets it. Like they come and they balance each other. Delusion is not all bad. Just make sure that you're making sure that your reality is just as up there as your grand ideas.